Welcome back to the Customer Success Festival APAC. I hope you enjoyed the event so far. Before we dive into the next session, again, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all partners and speakers. We cannot do this without you. If you really like the content, please subscribe to our CSC membership.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Customer Success Festival APAC. I think there's some tech issue with our intro video, but that's totally fine. I think most of you have seen it already, but it's my pleasure to present you the next speaker, Lisa, the head of customer success from Zillion, and she will share her experience and ideas on onboarding and value management. Given the fact that Lisa is now actually based in Boston, and she will share a presentation recording with us here, which is around 20 minutes. And right after that, there will be a live Q&A session as Lisa is in the room with us. So yes, please enjoy the video, and then there will be live Q&A right afterwards. See you guys soon.
Hi everyone. Let's talk about onboarding and value management. My name is Lisa Wing, and I'm an advocate for digital transformation, but extremely passionate about customer success. Let me share with you how I got started. First of all, I would like to thank my family for that. When I was young, we owned a couple of small businesses. As you know, with small business, it requires all hands on deck, and most of the time it's a family affair. Although I was just 7 years old, I was heavily involved in my family's small business. One of the shops that we have carry merchandises for Vietnamese immigrants to come shop, and we actually help them ship the product to Vietnam. Our product ranges from small goods to fabrics. We have a responsibility to research on the latest product, understanding the benefits of those products, and ensuring that the product is affordable for our type of customers. As a salesperson, I need to know all of the products we sell. I need to understand the features of those products, and I need to be able to convey the benefits and the features to my customers. Do keep in mind that some of the products are foreign to my customer. They might not have used them before, but they would like to know about them and purchase them for their relatives in Vietnam. Of course, our main goal is to convert into sales. Therefore, I need to be able to convey the benefits quickly, and I need to make sure that I secure the sales. What I noticed early on is that my customers require a little bit of time to digest. It is very overwhelming for them to review the products and then also to make a decision. But as a salesperson, I want to make sure that I keep my customers in the store and not let them go home and make that decision. So in order to keep them in the store, we actually have a comfortable seating area and also have snacks and coffee while they make their decision. Of course, enhancing the customer experience actually helps us convert to sales. But in order for us to be successful, we actually needed to understand our product, understand our customer, and understand how to convey the benefits to them quickly. What I've learned when I was young still resonate with me, and I still use many of those techniques today. Before we jump into it, let me share with you the company I'm at right now. I'm with Xylem, and what does Xylem do? We are a SaaS company that specializes in logistics software. Our all-in-one platform allows our customer to digitize, optimize, and take full control of the network that they may or may not own. We enable their team to scale and stay ahead of the competition. Throughout the years, we were able to prove success in a few different areas. During the pandemic, we had no choice but to convert our team, our customer success team, from a on-site, on-premise customer onboarding and implementation into a fully digitized onboarding process. We fully transform our process. We have successfully transformed our team to virtualize all of the enablement process while maintaining a 99% customer retention rate. We'll also have proven that our land and expand model has worked through value creation. I will share with you much more in details in regards of each area. Onboarding. Onboarding is about setting the right foundation. It is the first step into the customer success journey and is the most important step. There are three main elements in a successful onboarding process. First is about alignment, second is about attraction, and third is about activation. Let's dive into each one of them. When talking about alignment, there are three different areas that we should focus on. First is to secure your readiness. Second is to align your objectives and deliverables. And third is to set the expectations. Let's talk about it in more detail. What does it mean to secure your readiness? It all starts with a proper handshake. This handshake is within your organization, for example, from sales team to customer success team. The other handshake that you want to consider is between your customer success team and your customers. To increase the level of readiness, you will need to understand your customer. Any insights about your customer will be crucial. To gather those insights, you should have a structured handover. Think about what are the critical data points that you need to collect. Any soft agreements that were made between your sales team and your customer that were not documented. Any constraints that your customer might have. So for example, they need to go live on a certain date because of other financial or commercial agreements. Confirming your customer readiness could range from whether they have the resources available or validating if they have experience with starting a similar project prior. If they have little or no experience in starting a digital project, then you might have to prepare them beyond just a normal standard onboarding process. Now let's talk about objectives and deliverables. You should confirm that you understand the objectives. This confirmation can be done through the handover process with your sales team and also a confirmation alongside with your customer. The objectives should be clearly mapped to deliverables. Each deliverable should have clear ownership, meaning it is your team, who is it in the team, the role and responsibility of that person as well. Each deliverable should be listed with clear ownership, timeline, and dependency. It is important for your customer to understand that if a deliverables have a dependency. So when the dependency is missed, then they will understand the impact of the overall deliverables. Do keep in mind that some deliverables might require coordination outside of your immediate project team. Therefore, it is important for you to understand each deliverables, how it may or may not impact to the greater ecosystem of your customer. For example, many of our projects require integration. Many of our customers do not have any internal IT resources. So we have to coordinate with external IT resources. Instead of having multiple project plan, we work with external stakeholders to ensure that all deliverables dependencies are mapped, whether we own the deliverables or not. This allows us to manage the project holistically and ensure that we have one common goal is to deliver the project on time and successful. The third step in alignment is to set the expectation. You need to be very clear with your customer in regards of what you need from them, what is your expectation of their involvement, and what is the responsibilities among all of the stakeholders. As part of the alignment process, you should have very clear documented communication structure, including the frequency of that, whether it's a weekly meeting, daily meeting, or even monthly reports. The last part of the setting the expectation is to understand how you will be measured. What is the value of this project? The success factor of the project is not that the project is on time or if you have delivered all of the objectives, but it is actually what value the customer harvests from the project. Attraction. Let's talk about attraction. Attraction is all about getting the person's attention and keeping it. Therefore, we need to focus on the why, focus on the value proposition, and really go beyond the presentation and the daily meetings. When talking about the why, the purpose should be crystal clear. Explaining why the company wants to do this. What are the benefits for the company after they were able to achieve it? And also, what are the impact if they can't? To bridge the why to the value proposition, you need to know your stakeholders. It goes beyond the sponsor of the project. For our project, we have users from the C-level down to the drivers. It is important for us to understand the benefits that our product and this project will give to each level. The value propositions are different at various levels. It is important to convey the benefit at each user's level. To increase stickiness, the user must know the importance of their role towards this project. We find that our success increases if we customize the whole journey of attraction. We make it very interactive and we ensure that we actually listen to what the user have to say. It is important for us to not only to share what we know, but also to listen to what they have to say. We have customized the process by understanding our user. And the user is not only their role, but also their culture as well. When we enable our customers at different countries, we actually start to realize that we needed to start in different ways. For example, when we built our driver's mobile app, we actually shadow the driver and follow their routes and watch them do their job and watch them execute the deliveries. This allows us to fully understand the day-to-day challenges and allow us to take that opportunity and enhance the user's experience while they're using our application. We will not be able to successfully influence our user if we don't understand their job or how our product can benefit them. Now let's talk about activation. Activation is beyond training. Training is just the first part. Value measurement needs to be part of the activation journey. Having a feedback loop allows you to continue to bring value. Most of us are probably doing digital training nowadays. Digital training needs to be interactive. There also needs to be a confirmation phase, meaning a test or something that allows you to confirm what the user has obtained during the training. Foster an environment that allows for open communication, feedback, and improvement as well. As training is not a one-time deal, do assure that the training material are easily accessible to all of your users. This gives them a freedom to access the material, do a refresher on their own instead of having to come to you. This also enables their team to do training after the project is done. Upkeeping of training material is also crucial as well, so make sure that you actually have a process with you and your customer to upkeep the training material for their users. Project Go Live is not the last stage of customer success. Your customer will expect to have clear measurements on the value that your product or services bring to them. It is important to know what are the different areas of measurement that your customers expect, how to measure them, and please be practical as well. Some value can be achieved and measured within days, while some requires months worth of data monitoring and increase of user adoption. To minimize any surprises among the stakeholders, it is important for us to clearly document what are the expected value and how to measure each value. It is good to also have a range for each parameters as well. What is a low range and a high range of each value that you will achieve. Consider things that are within your control and things that are not within your control. And the values should be achievable. For every stages of the onboarding process, it is good to have a process for feedback loop. This allows you to be proactive and to have improvement during the onboarding activities. When you're able to achieve a strong and successful onboarding process, you're in the first step of being a trusted partner. Once you achieve a trusted partner status, it is the first start of a long-term relationship. Value management. Now let's talk about value management. Value management is knowing your customer, focusing on the outcome, and taking control. Knowing your customer goes beyond their functional and technical requirements. You should know them, you should know their industry, know the challenges that they're facing, knowing their long-term strategy, and how you can play a role in that. One of the mistakes that people make is to assume that their customers understand and are able to map their product feature to the business benefit. Do note that benefits can vary from different industries, different customers. It is crucial to map the benefits for your customer and keep it updated to ensure its relevancy. Focusing on outcome. Customer success is not a project base. It is definitely a journey. It is important to have continuous engagement with your customers. In order for you to anchor a successful land and expand model, you need to create a continuous value. The value you create may go beyond your product. For example, some of the value we create with our customer is our industry knowledge. We have a variety of customers in different markets, and we continue to learn from the industry we serve, learn from our customer, and bring best practices into our engagement. Our team is also very proactive. When they see something, they say something. And it's not restricted to the project that we're on. With this, our customer is able to see that we'll always have their best interests in mind. And taking control. Trust and loyalty are tied together. In order for you to create loyalty, you have to increase the trust. We've gained our customer trust by doing what's right and not by doing what's easy. Our customer trusts us because we're able to take accountabilities on things that we've done wrong, disagree with them with their best interests in mind, and going above and beyond our duties. Many people may not know this, but upselling is much cheaper than acquiring new customer. In order for you to successfully upsell and expand with your current customer, they need to have a trust in you, they need to believe in your product, and they need to believe that your team is capable of execution and providing them with a long-term value. As a SaaS company, we always try to stay relevant. We bring innovations to our product so that we can stay relevant with our customer. Think of way for you to increase your partnership, and don't be shy to reach out to your customer and brainstorm on ways for you to increase your overall partnership with them. To conclude, just remember thread the journey with your customers and always be a partner, not a vendor. It is important for you to have that status. Vendor is easily replaced and partners are there to keep. Thank you. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you, Lisa. A really nice and insightful presentation. How are you doing today? Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Hello. Hi. Hey.
Hello.
Hello. Nice to meet you here. So we see some comments here already. Thank you, Polly, Cameron, Vijay, Xing, and Kirby and Suntan. We got a questions from Sinsin already. Hope you get ready for that, Lisa.
Sure,
So,
not a problem.
yeah, in his or her previous experience, customers will not see the value and they were reluctant to get re-onboarded. Is there any tips for this situation that you can share?
Sorry. So the question, let me see who has the questions. Okay, customer were not seeing the value and they were reluctant to get re-onboarded. Okay, so I think it's really from my experience, I have that as well, because we're in logistics, and there is quite a lot of tension when we do onboarding and implementation, right? The first tensions that we see is actually the end users themselves. Sometimes the driver using the mobile app. They don't want to be monitored, so therefore they purposely would not use the app for the first few weeks so that they will, in hope to have a change that the implementation would not go through. So I think tensions and value are seen in different type of users. For me, in order for me to reinstate it or actually increase the user adoption, I actually want to dive into why. Why are they doing it, right? And if they don't see the value, you really need to have that honest conversation in regards of why they don't see the value. Do they expect a certain value that you didn't know about? Or was the value not conveyed? Sometimes a value cannot be interpreted. It is our responsibility to present the value to the customer. We might assume that the value is known, but it's actually not. What we did is that for the project go live, we thought that we did a lot of training. So we thought that the manager will see our software as a tool and they will use it right away. But somehow they didn't put two and two together. So we actually take that into the feedback, and we actually will sit with them every single day and say, okay, if you use it, this is what you will harvest from using it, your real-time tracking, real-time monitor, and really translate every single value that they will achieve. So my answer to that is that really dive into why they don't see the value. And I can tell you sometimes they will explain it very simply and you're like, wait, how can you not see that?
Yeah, find out the reason first. I hope to answer your question, Sinsin. And Cameron was expecting to see some examples of client metrics report to Monsieur Success. Do you have some sort of case studies or previous experience they can share on that one, or examples?
Yeah, but or maybe Cameron can give me a little bit more specifics in regards of what areas she's referring to.
Yeah, sure. Cameron, please, keep up the messaging here so we can see, and then get back to that questions if that's all right. Thank you, Polly. Love that simplified and easy slides. Enjoy the session. Thank you. So we have Elaine here. Questions like, when onboarding, how do you manage the oversell from the sales process?
Okay. Yeah. So I think in software, actually, oversell or not, let's say that it's not intentional. Sometimes it's not intentional. I think a lot of people think that it's intentional, that the salesperson will oversell to get the accounts. But you know what? And when we look at a software, we look at solutions, a lot of solutions are cater to workflow, right? And sometimes if you turn a little left or you turn a little right, there's different outcome, and there's specific that the salesperson do not know. So oversell might not be intentional. I think it's all about being transparent. So if you caught that the customer misunderstood what the objective is or what the requirement was, and your team cannot comply to it, I think that is all about putting the stakeholders in the room. So your customer, your salesperson, understanding where the miscommunication is, because sometimes it's just simply a miscommunication. Or if you find that you have overcommit, then you manage it as in a risk perspective, meaning work with your product team, see how you can resolve it. Customers that usually sign up, they want a successful project, right? And they understand that things happen. If you act on it, follow through with it, then they will be okay. So
Yep.
first acknowledge. I think
Mhm.
first you stick with the acknowledgement, then you work through the process to resolving that problem.
Thank you for answering that. I hope that answers your questions, Elaine. We got Alan here wondering, what CS tools were you using now, and which CS tool do you think is good?
Okay. Well, a CS as a customer success could have many different tools. First, you actually probably have a project management tool. So there are quite a lot of project management tool. But I think for the CS, it's really not. Hopefully Alan doesn't refer to a project management tool. I think for customer success to be successful, the tool that we need to look at is communication tools and tools for you to get insights from your customer, because your customer retention is based on how happy they are. So for us, our tool is our resource, and then our surveys as well. So we have surveys and feedback along the way. So from onboarding, project kickoff, UAT, go live, after go live. And then when we do after go live, we actually have different type of surveys for different levels of the organization. So therefore, we actually get feedback from the C level, who usually is the sponsor of the software, to really understand from him or her if he has seen the value. Then we actually go into operational as well. So the managers, the day-to-day user, to understand if our software has complemented them and really help them scale their team. So for me, as a CS tool, I will equip with a lot of surveys and a lot of communication. And of course, the project management, I'm sure that you guys have plenty of tools out there now for that.
Thank you. Thank you for answering that. I hope that answers your questions, Alan. I got a quick questions here from my end, actually, because I heard people talking about it yesterday, because you were mentioning the customer engagement and communication when you were adjusting Alan's tool. I'm just wondering, do you see, or how does the pandemic change the whole customer engagement and messaging in your organization? Because from yesterday, I can hear someone asking, because previously they would be able to meet customers face to face, but obviously pandemic changed everything. They're struggling to find a new way to do that. And what do you think about this situation?
Yeah, for me, I would say the positive angle of the pandemic, which a lot of people don't think that the pandemic can bring any positive angle, but there is. For me, I am raised in the U.S., but actually I work in Singapore now, across Southeast Asia for 5 to 6 years now. One thing that I've noticed is the culture differences. In Asia, they really want you to be on site. They want to see you, they want to feel you, and they want to feel the team there to support their team, right? So the mentality is what we're able to push. And what we're able to push is really telling them to step outside of their comfort zone. So when we first started, we will tell you that, a customer will purposely cancel meeting until we fly there. So they say, okay, if you're not on site, then we're going to cancel. Then we find that with the pandemic, we still need to continue with the project. And then slowly they said, okay, finally, we'll do this. But then we had a struggle in getting their attention through webinar, right? It's extremely hard to get their attention. So we actually revamped the way we train. So we really look at it and go like, okay, how do we make it interactive? How do we make it very laser focused and interactive? And we actually have to change the way that we do our PowerPoint. We actually inserted videos, right? To make sure that, it's not just us talking, but they can watch something as well. We make sure the video is not too long. So we actually were able to read some of the body language, make changes. And I would say your best friend is your customer. So don't be shy to reach out to them and say, okay, you know what? We had a meeting yesterday, but there was like 5% participation. What do you think? You were on site. I'm in Singapore. You're in Indonesia. What do you think that we can do differently? The customer wants us to be successful as much as we want to be successful. So tag team with your customer. And remember, everybody is new to this.
Sure.
All right, we can't be an expert here. Everybody is new to this, so don't be shy to tag team. And I would say, like, my most successful projects or implementation is when I have a partner in crime on the other side.
All right, cool. Thanks for the advice. And yeah, we have Polly here. I think Polly really agree what you mentioned earlier. Yes, tools are important to check communication with customers. You need this to check how close your CSMs are working with customers. You gotta measure what matters. So thank you, Polly, for the comments. We might still have time for 1 or 2 questions. So if you have something that you want to ask Lisa, please do fire away straight now. And while you're still typing, I hope you are. Cameron was still waiting for your follow-ups. And maybe if there's one more tip that you want to share to the community about either onboarding or value management, what would it be?
I would say that always focus on the customer's long-term strategy. And that's how we stay relevant. We don't stay relevant because we finish a project on time. And actually for us, we have to first to digitize, then we have to optimize. So it is a journey, and our customer stays with us like 3 to 4 years, 5 years, and we actually are working with them very, very closely. And in order for us to continue to be relevant and not to have another vendor come and step in and take over that account, we are always very proactive as well. We actually have different approach when we do the project implementation. So instead of having, classroom and sharing PowerPoints, even through the pandemic now, we actually we do a monitoring of their operation. And now because we cannot be on site, they actually can do videos for us as well. So we try to make it very interactive, but we try to make it that in a way that somebody's not going to try to convey all of their process of 20 years process through a PowerPoint. So we make extra effort to be very involved in the operation and really to understand and see it for ourselves and to validate and convey what is the difference between what they present to us and what we actually saw in their operation.
Thank you, Lisa. Great advice again. Karen, you're a lucky one, got the last questions now. So what do you think is the biggest challenge in the entire CSM journey? Ooh, that's a big one.
That is the biggest one. I think is the attraction, because if you don't get the attraction, meaning getting their attention and getting the ability for you to influence, then the journey itself, it's going to be a little bit fragile. So for me, it's all about, am I a trusted partner? Do they trust me? Because once they trust me, it's a little bit easier. And how do I earn their trust? What value do I bring to the table, aside from the fact that we're selling, a software solution? So for me, that is it. So attraction, anchoring the customer will give you a long way, a successful partnership.
The partner instead of the vendor thing that you mentioned at the very end of your presentation. I really like that. Yes. We got a follow-up here again from Karen. I think a very similar question, but maybe you can quickly address that again. So what do you do if the clients purchase a product but not using it at all despite several engagement? I think this is very similar to what Xinchen has mentioned earlier.
Yeah, so I think it is, we have that a lot, Karen. So I just want to let you know that we have that quite a lot. So the user adoption is what probably Karen is mentioning here. And user adoption for software company, I think it's hard because, I started in the medical industry in the US, and I can tell you the nurses didn't want to change from their notepad into software application. Forget about Asia with last mile logistic drivers. So I actually have experienced that like throughout my 20 years career. And I think what is, there's a couple things that you need to look at. Number one is, do you have a process to manage user adoption? It has to be a process, right? And number two, did you convey the value proposition to that level of user. And I really mean to that level of user. So when I look at, when I go and I do the onboarding and we talk about value and the purpose, I have a different slide and a different session for the C-level. I have a different one for the middle manager, and I have a different one for the driver. Everybody needs to know why they're doing it and what's in it for them. And if you cannot convey what's in it for them, they're not going to try. So
True.
Karen, focus on what's in it for them, and then have a process for you to monitor the user adoption. And don't do it too late. We do it the first, every single day for the first week, then a weekly basis, then the first 3 months. So it is crucial for you to catch the user adoption issue before it's too late. So for us, we know that week 1, we have 20% user adoption. But on the 90th day, we expect 90% user adoption.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you, Karen. Okay, got it. TQV, I think that. Thank you very much. I think that's the one. And yeah, again, I would have to take a chance to wrap this up today. Thank you, Lisa, for being up so late with us, even though you're in Boston. Thank you for the presentation video and addressing all those great questions from our audience. Again, thank you all for tuning in for this Customer Success Festival APAC. I'll look forward to seeing all of you in our next sessions and the rest of the day.
Yes, and feel free to email me as well. I think there's other questions coming in. Feel free to email me as well. Yeah,
email Lisa or get connected via LinkedIn, join our CS community. And that's the reason we are building up this, to get people share knowledge, share experience, and make connections. Again, thank you, everyone. I'll look forward to meeting all of you soon. And Lisa, have a good night. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thanks, Ryan, for putting this together. Bye, guys.
No worries. Take care. Bye-bye.